Isn't the very measure of a man the number of people who considered him their best friend? I truly believe Paul O'Grady, although he'll laugh his head off reading this in heaven, had a special quality in common with the late lamented Nelson Mandela. He managed to make everyone he met feel valued, understood and appreciated. He was the opposite of schmaltzy. He didn't do soppy sentiment or compliments, but his salty and acerbic humor was underscored with such genuine interest, and was so intensely bespoke, that folk brightened and stood taller in his company. I've adored Paul since inheriting the big breakfast bed from his alter ego Lily Savage in 1996. He instinctively bestowed the gift of attention and compassion, and hefty helpings of hilarity, on all he met. These included hundreds of people from Queen Camilla and Amanda Holden, to his conspirator and producer Malcolm Prince, his pals at Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, and his local shopkeeper. They all thought of him as their best pal in the world. When I woke to the news of his death, I was consumed by shock and sadness. My phone still bristles with his messages promising nights of debauchery and dissipation. I looked forward to both immensely, of course. Only recently he was starring as Miss Hannigan in Annie, and reporting gleefully that the demanding dance routines had kicked in instantly through miraculous muscle memory. He was whizzing around London on the back of his limo bikes and looking forward to a new show on Boom Radio after his brutal BBC ousting. Paul was in his prime and none of us, his husband Andre, daughter and grandchildren, were ready to lose the star illuminating all our lives. He was unmatched at giving people instant fitting nicknames. He called me, flatteringly, the Delphic Sibyl after the ancient Greek oracle. He thought I was knowledgeable, and from a polymath such as Paul, that was a most treasured compliment. So profound was the former social worker's contribution to broadcasting culture that on the day he died entire program schedules were jettisoned for tributes. Scott Mitchell, Dame Barbara Windsor's widower, described Paul's visits to his late wife. Confused by dementia, Barbara repeated her stories. Paul responded freshly and kindly every time. Dog lover Paul was a campaigner for social justice, animal rights and LGBTQ+ equality with an astringent tongue, rapier-sharp wit, a soaring intellect and a heart of shimmering gold. I will miss him every single day. I'm a real Cockney sparrer, but my heart belongs to the Emerald Isle. Some people think I work for the Irish Tourist Board. I don't, although I'd be happy to if they'd like to have me. I am a proud Londoner, born within the sound of Bow Bells, but at least 2 chambers of my heart lie in enchanting East Cork. If you don't understand why, I entreat you to venture to the Emerald Isle. The combination of exquisite beauty, ravishing conversations with strangers, live music, whether that includes sun, hail and gales on the same day, and food so astoundingly tasty that it makes you comment aloud, apple muesli. Oh my goodness. Makes falling in love inevitable. If you don't believe me, ask supermodel Emily Ratajkowski, who says, I have spent every summer in Bantry since my father had the romantic idea 20 years ago to buy an old farmhouse and renovate it. I have great memories. Going off and getting lost in the bog for hours and coming home covered in dirt. Now, do you get it? Egging on medics with chocolate incentives is a cracking idea. Portsmouth Hospitals University NHS Trust has been criticised for incentivizing staff to free up beds before the doctors strike by offering chocolate Easter eggs as prizes. Why? Nothing concentrates the mind like a bit of harmless bribery. I know a magnate who propelled his business to prominence by providing Christmas turkeys to stellar salesmen. He paid for the succulent birds legitimately, so what on earth was wrong with jollying his turnover along by offering festive feathered inducements? If overstretched medical teams were galvanized into preemptive action by the promise of toothsome confectionery, I fail to see the problem. I know carrots are preferable to sticks, and are more acceptable to dentists, but loosen up a little and let chocolate do the talking. Prize Guy Mescal is streets ahead in theater classics, having barely survived Paul Mescal's deeply disconcerting portrayal of brutish Stanley Kowalski and Tennessee Williams's heartbreaking play A Streetcar Named Desire. I'm not in the least surprised he won an Olivier Best Actor award. Phew. He packed such a ferocious punch that I felt like hiding under my seat. Stanley is a drunken brutish hunk of inadequacy barely masked by spite and aggression. His lumpen determination to squash the fluttering, drunken and deluded would-be butterfly Blanche Dubois has kept audiences simultaneously sickened and gripped since 1947. Mescal, above, is only 27. I'd love to live to see him play that other classic role, Willy Loman in Death of a Salesman. Do drop the glottal stop, boys, if you want to be lucky in love. Research from Pace University in the US shows that women in relationships with English-speaking men favor those gents who clearly enunciate the T at the ends of words such as but and boot. I would add to the mix the enunciation of the G at the end of singing and walking, as ignored by ex-Home Secretary Priti Patel, and the SP at the start of specific rather than rendering it Pacific. Also vital is pronouncing mischievous as it is written, not turning it to mischievous, and never replacing the G of anything and nothing with a K. I'll spare you the rest, I'm just getting started.